I'm so new to this, guys. All right, welcome, guys. Currency with a twist. As you see here, we have Pimpy and Delta joining us tonight. I want to thank you guys for being here. It means a
Not a
lot
problem.
to all of us.
It's a pleasure, Carl and Pimpy, for the first time be with you guys for a while. I really appreciate you. It's an honor to come today and give basically the information for all these investors for in the Iraqi dinars, and hopefully we'll answer some questions for them. So to clear up some some stuff, some misunderstanding. So really here to answer any question they have.
I appreciate that. Guys, as you know, Currency with a Twist is the place where you'll always get honesty and truth. You know, we take this very serious, just as the rest of these two guys here with me do. So without further ado, we'll get started. Real quick, guys, before we got on the show, Pimpy was explaining to me something that he figured out today. Pimpy, could you give us a little background on what it was that we were talking about?
Yeah, when I explained to everybody what the 12-to-1 exchange rate policy was, I made a mistake. It's not 12 Iraqi dinars for every $1. It's actually 1 dinar for every 12 US dollars. When I saw that, I was floored. I was like, wow, how did I miss that? So I got it backwards. It's actually 12 dinar or 12 US dollars for every 1 dinar. This was implemented back in 2003. It continued up to 2019. And now they're talking about possibly re-implementing it in 2026. But, here's the question that I was running past Carl. I said, first of all, where the hell was that exchange rate at? Who had access to it? And how do you get on their list, man? That's what I want to know. I knew they kept 3 rates, but, in my old research, when I went to the BTI report, it would talk about a dual rates, official rate, and a parallel rate. And I was like, what the hell is a dual rate? That's what it is. The 12-to-1 policy, or 12-to-1 exchange policy is the dual rate. But I can't figure out for the life of me, with all the reading that I'm doing, why the hell they were keeping 3 different rates for the Iraqi dinar, and why 12-to-1? You know what I mean? Who's got access to that? What are they doing with 12-to-1? I mean, I knew what they were doing, but
right,
for some reason, it just doesn't make no sense to me what they were trying to accomplish.
So Delta, after hearing that, do you have any thoughts on the 12-to-1 rate and who would have access to that rate?
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. I mean, I'm not really sure they're going to go all the way up to $12, but I know one of the countries they used to have something like that, if I'm not mistaken, was Venezuela. Like they used to have, this was like in the past, where they had like a different exchange rate internally, and outside was a different kind of exchange rate. So they have a dual kind of exchange rate. I can see that, but I want to be honest with you, I'm not going to see $12, right? I mean, I really doubt I'm going to see something like that. If they go back like in the previous 70s, 80s, over $3, right? I can see that. But again, I mean, right now, they're looking for something else right now. I don't think the priority for them is like the exchange rate for now. And of course, we're going to talk about this, like we talked earlier, Carl, the last 2-3 weeks, you and me. And then, by the way, before we start, I would like to wish everybody Happy New Year. Hopefully, 2024 will be health, prosperity for everybody. And I would like to thank you, Carl, for this YouTube channel. And one of the reasons I came to you because, after we talked together 2-3 weeks ago, and I like what you bring to the family. And this was one of the reasons, I really decided to join you, because after I saw the last 2-3-4 weeks what you're doing, you bring in the right information and no hype, right, and no exaggerations, and regardless if our Iraqi dinar investor like whatever they hear or not, but at least this is the truth, this is reality. That's why I wanted to join you. I wanted a lot of people to support you, because I want to be honest with you. I mean, I have been in this investment since 2003, 2004. Now I left around 2020 because there's a lot of misinformation, a lot of people giving like wrong information. I got a lot of people that called me. A lot of people lost their houses. A lot of people they really suffered because they were listening to misinformation, which is the hype every day is going to happen today, tomorrow, after that. So 4 years ago, I did leave the forums. Basically, everybody knows. I mean, I was with so many kind of forums. Mostly was the KTFA, which is a lot of respect for everybody with the Dinar community. But the only misunderstanding we had basically between me and most of the other forums was the dates, right? And of course, the rate. I don't care about the rate. I want to be honest with you. I come 10 cents, $1, $2, but the $1,000,000 questions always used to be, when is going to happen? Number two is there's a lot of misunderstanding and misinformation. I'm not sure if they were doing that on purpose or maybe ignorance. They didn't know the laws of Iraq and the policies. They're telling people that they can do it anytime they want to, that's not the case here, which is we're going to get, of course, into it. So to go back to your questions, I really doubt it's going to be at $12. And I'm going to give you an example, which is we talked about this last week, you and I. Carl, when I give you an example, Saudi Arabia, for example. Saudi Arabia, they're one of the richest countries in the world, which is we all agree on that, right? Mm-hmm. And they have about over $1 trillion worth of reserve. Now, if Saudi Arabia want to support their currency, they can come up at $20 per real if they want to do that. But they don't do that because that doesn't work good for them. Right? So every country, they do have the currency, and why their currency, for example, it has the exchange rate that we're looking at right now. Now, Iraq, we all know, if they're going to go back like the previous 70s and 80s, which is over $3, and I'll be honest with you, this is my humble opinion, I don't think they might even go to that because they don't need to go that high like before, right? There's a reason before why Saddam Hussein did that, which is, we'll get to that. But basically what I do, I think the $12, I don't think they're going to get to that point. There's no reason for it, and that's really very, very high, especially when we're going to talk about the money supply, which is I do have the spreadsheets from the Central Bank of Iraq website. You have over $100 trillion right now printed, right? So this is basically what's going on here, Carl. Does that make sense?
How much did you say?
About $100 trillion.
Yeah, that's on the website, right?
Yes, it's on the website, and
but that's not actually what's out there.
Yeah. Yes.
No. 2014, 2015, Iraq was spending somewhere in the neighborhood of $1 billion of their oil revenues buying the Iraqi dinar off the open market. They destroyed 70% at that time. 70% of the Iraqi dinar was destroyed. They were thinking about doing the deletion of the zeros back then, and they destroyed that. I had an article and did a video on it and showed everybody that they said they were taking $1 billion, which is a ridiculous amount of Iraq off the open market and destroying it. And then there it says they were able to destroy 70% of the Iraqi dinar that had been printed. So if you remove that amount at that time period, subtract it from where it is now, that would be a more realistic number.
Okay, this is the thing with what they're telling us, right? But there's no proof to that. But I do have the proof that they have $100 trillion in this spreadsheet, right? And then again, see what's going on. We had in the past, we had two window opportunities that was about to happen. One of them when Shabibi was there, and he was about to basically live the 3 zeros and come up with about 85, 83 cents, whatever the point was there. But Maliki at that time, he stopped it, right? And then we're going to get to that point as well. I mean, why Maliki is going to stop something that is good for the country. And then the second one we had when Ali Allah, basically, in 2016, when there was like more than like 100 and 100 of articles talking about early 2017, we're going to live the 3 zeros, do this and that. And then at the end, they didn't do it. Now, there's a lot of corruption still going on too in there, right? And then we're going to get to that, one of the questions that Carl have. But again, Iraq, see, I'm from the Middle East. We have the culture there. The problem with our Iraqi dinar investors is whatever they see, like let's say an article comes out, right? Number one, 90% of those articles, you do have the mistranslations wrong. Like one word could basically twist the whole kind of meaning of the article. Number two is you have to filter which articles basically are good or not. I mean, I used to tell everybody 4 years ago when I used to do like those conference calls, I used to tell them that the only entity that I really trust is basically the Central Bank of Iraq, Minister of Planning, Minister of Finance, and the government, of course, which is the Prime Minister's office. There's a lot of article coming up. And then, I mean, for the last 4 years, I'm not sure I mean, all the conference call that there is to say over there, we do have some window of opportunities if you look to that one, like to save you the time. You don't have to wait every day, every week that they're recognizing a value. But there's stuff you have to understand, and a lot of people, they have to know that Iraq, for example, which is we'll talk about this, they cannot revalue anytime they want to. All right. So now we're going to go to those questions. Carl, do you have the questions with you, buddy? You're going to start with that, or what are you going to do? So we can go from there if you like.
Yeah, that's fine. We can go ahead and start with some questions.
Okay.
So let's touch on corruption real fast, because you had just mentioned that. You had made a comment the other day when we were talking about how prime ministers and things of that nature in Iraq are not elected, they're selected, and that United States and Iran have to come to some sort of agreement. Can you touch on that a little bit? Because that kind of gives a little credence to the influence that Iran has in Iraqi politics.
Absolutely. See, from day one when George Bush basically went to Iraq and took Saddam Hussein out, the biggest mistake was he put everything in the hand of Shia. Right now Shia, we all know they're on behalf of, with all respect to all religion anyway, they're not really good for their own countries. Like when you see Shia, for example, I'm going to give you an example too. When you see Shia in Lebanon and Syria and Iraq and Yemen, they're not good. But when you see Sunnis controlling the country like Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, Qatar, right? They really care about their own people more, and they're way better for the country than Shia. So what happened is they put everything in charge in Shia's hands, right? Iranian Shia there. And then you got the US. Now every time when they have a prime minister for an election, which is again, like I said last time, it's not even election, it's elections. Both parties, which is you got all the time behind closed doors meeting between the Iran and the US, right? They sit there and they put the one that they both agree upon, right? But all the time they come in media, they say, oh, we're going to do this and that. Why do you see all this election? They take long. And every time when you have election in Iraq, it's like a chaos, right? It's not like, oh, okay, when there's an election, there's a prime minister. They're always having problems until they reach to someone. Now, every prime minister that you see, they're all puppets. They're puppets for Iran, and they have to follow the U.S. as well. So he has to follow the agenda of Iran, right? And that's the problem there. Now, there's in Iraq, I'm going to be honest with you, there's 100% corruptions in Iraq. I cannot say 1,000% because it'll be like, well, there's 100% corruptions in Iraq. Now, the prime minister's all the time, of course, he has to come on media, he has to come on TV to show that, he doesn't, belong to nobody or to Iran or US, but that's not true. He cannot do anything behind closed doors without the blessing of Iran and the US. This is going on in Iraq right now, right? And the corruption is to the teeth right now in Iraq, right? And just to let you know, there's about 34 million people population in Iraq. You got about 10 million people. They hardly average $2 a day. The infrastructure is so bad, right? The banking industry, they're all corrupt. They don't do anything. They don't give you loans. They don't do nothing. They just basically they used to participate in those auctions. So the corruption is one of the reasons that making the lifting of the 3 zeros get delayed every time. And they don't want that to happen very soon. Now, eventually it's going to happen one day. And we all know that. That's Iraq not good investment. I mean, it's a good investment, like any other investment. But now it's not like before. I mean, a lot of people think that it's going to happen any day, any moment. It's not. It will happen, but not like any other Iraqi dinar investors they're talking about. And I did prove my point 4 years ago when I gave everybody exactly what's going to happen. And, some people didn't like it. And unfortunately, when you give like the right information, some Iraqi dinar investors, they think it's a negative, right? But I don't understand. I mean, if Carl and Pimpy, I come to you right now and I tell you something is going to happen tomorrow, right? For example, and then it doesn't happen, right? So I fool you once, shame, show me, fool you twice, show me, for example. So this is what's going on here. we get a lot of, unfortunately, Iraqi dinar investors. They just abusing basically the this information. They're not giving you the right information, and that actually makes it worse for the investors.
What? You mean they're lying? Is that what you're trying to say?
That's
They're
why I
full of
think
crap and misleading
yeah,
people?
yeah. I mean, this is what you're gonna say basically there, because here's the thing. Like, I come to you every day. I tell you, Carl, I was gonna revalue tomorrow, and then tomorrow comes in, nothing happened. I'm gonna tell you, oh, you know what? No, next week is gonna happen, and then nothing happened, right? But still, you come in and you trust me. You still come in, you're listening to me. So
Yeah,
now,
for like
I mean,
15 years, go figure.
right. So now, here's the thing. There's something wrong with me, or there's something with the audience that they're not basically following that. I'm lying to you. Unfortunately, I'm giving you misinformation for the last 4 to 5, 6 years, right? And this is what's going on here. This is the problem. Now, to be honest with you, after I left, the KTFA, while, which is, again, I have a lot of respect for everybody. I love everybody, and everybody knows me. And a lot of people, they don't like, some people, some investors, they didn't like the way I would talk, because I was not giving them the thing that they wanted to hear. But then they realize, right? They realize that, oh, wait a minute, Delta, you're right. I mean, okay, and the reason I left, by the way, a lot of people, they didn't know that. I'm not sure. The only things I left KTFA is because we had a misunderstanding. The only things the misunderstanding was between me and all of them there, right? Was they were talking about this going to happen every day, but for me, I told them, no, it's not going to happen every day. There's a certain time. If it doesn't happen, then we have to wait, for example, to the next window for opportunities. And this was basically what happened. But I want to tell you something. I have more than 2,000 followers, which is from all, even KTFA, any other place that they know me. We are in contact all the time. We text each other. And all the time. You know what? I got a gentleman. It's so funny, right? I know Ms. Vega. I have a lot of respect for a lot of them, right? And I told him, I want to tell you something. What's going to happen? I told him exactly what's going to happen before it happened.
Mm-hmm.
And then I told him that you don't have to believe me, right? I'm not asking you to believe me, but I want you at least to consider what I'm telling you here. But all the stuff that I explained to him, then after a while he said, you know what, Delta, thank you very much for being honest with me. Give me the truth, because that truth has saved me a lot of hassle. I mean, he said, like I told you earlier, there's a lot of people lost their houses. Everybody, I had like this lady, she called me 2 years ago, and she told me, Delta, I need money. There's a job coming to me. There's a good offer for me. Do you think that the dinar is going to go up? Because I don't want to work. Because this thing is going to happen every month. And I told you know what? My advice to you, young lady, just go work. You have a job. Yeah, put the dinar on the side. But if you're going to lose your house and you're thinking that the dinar is going to go up because someone is telling you that, do not believe that. I'm telling you right now, there's no lower denominations in the machine. There's no devaluation coming up right now. I do have a contact as well. I have everything. Believe me, I have Iraqi dinar too. Don't you think I wanted this to happen like the rest of us? But you have to be very truthful. But here's the thing. I mean, you can basically bring misinformation to have people listening to you, to have more people, they're more popular. But then at the end, people are going to find out that, you know what, you're not right. I mean, there's nothing wrong to say, you know what, I don't know. You know what? But again, you have to read because of Iraq now, they have a lot of policies internationally. You cannot do things anytime you want to, right? And this is what's going on is exactly like one like is a lawyer and one doesn't know anything. Like the lawyer, he studied everything. He knows about laws, right? This is the same thing. Unfortunately, 99% of the Iraqi investor broadcast, what are we going to call it, right? Right now, most of them, they don't know what they're talking about. Unfortunately, they don't know the laws of Iraq, right? And this is what's going on, Carl. I hope that answered that first question.
Mm-hmm. It did. So it's funny because, we talked about that the other day, and then, like you were saying, people get misinformation, and it's like they almost want to believe it. Me and Pimpy talked about it the other day as well. They get so mad at you when you I don't want to say discredit another guru, but I had a lady that was in my comments, and she said the 15th is so significant because Iraq has to announce by the 15th because it's in their constitution about why they have to have their finances and they have to have an international currency by the 15th. And it's like, who told you that? Can you shed any light? Is there some real big significance about they're going to revalue by the 15th because it's in their constitution? To me, that just sounds outlandish. And I don't know why, she's so up in arms about it. What, can you or Pimpy shed any light on that?
I mean, this is the kind of stuff I've been hearing now for years. Oh, this is the law. They don't know the law. Oh, this guru said that. That guru don't know his ass from a hole in the ground. I mean, just Kyle has been doing a great job of exposing these gurus and their BS. And it's hard not to sit back and just listen to what he's saying and just support what he's saying, because he's saying everything I've been saying now for years. Stop misleading these people. Stop lying to them. There is no numbers on the back screen. There is no 800 numbers. There's no humanitarian projects. You don't have any intel person. It's just BS. Instead of giving you intel, all they're doing is just regurgitating news articles. If you're going to give somebody's intel, this is something that nobody else has. That's actual. That's going to happen. Not just blowing smoke up people's butt. But this is what these people have been doing for years. They're not going to change. It's not my place to tell them to change. But, when people call me up and they're about 2 steps away from jumping off a cliff, what I'm saying? Why do you believe them? Why do you listen to them after all these years of hearing the same crap over and over? But yet you keep going back like like they're addicted or something. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's like, it's a lie. It's better just to be grounded, listen to the news, feel happy that things are going in a good direction, but don't believe all the hype that's out there that this is going to happen tomorrow. Every year they say the same thing. When a budget's released, the new rate's going to be in there. Nope. Oh, when the new year comes, the exchange rate's going to change. Nope. If there's a significant article, that's going to cause the exchange rate to change. None of these things ever happen. I tell people all the time, there's a lot of things to take in consideration when you change your exchange rate. It's not just pull a wand out my butt and sprinkle unicorn pixie dust on people. It doesn't work that way.
So I got a question from Miss Jen Spencer. Let me see if I can find it again here. How would all this work if into blockchains and all the different variables? Is there a world in which the blockchain or anything could be with the dinar or any of that good stuff?
Well, so basically, let me explain exactly what's going on with Iraq, right? First of all, you have to understand that Iraq, it's all. I mean, they're not used to debit card. They're not cashless society. They're,
right.
90% of Iraqis, and I'm not talking about 90%, right? All of them believe in cash. Nobody believe in debit card, and for God's sake, they don't even trust their banks. I mean, there's a lot of people right now. For example, give you Waraka Bank. There's a lot of people invested there. Nobody can get their money out, so they have no confidence in bank system. And the 10% that they do have bank account, they're forced to have a bank account because they're all government employees. And you have to have an account in order for you to get your direct deposit, basically. Now, what's Iraq they're trying to do, right? They're trying to be a digital, right? They're going to be like
cashless.
Yeah. So this is what they're trying to do. So, but the problem is, the problem is you got 90% of your population that don't believe in that. They're all about cash. Number two, there's a lot of corruptions going on, right? And this is what's going on there. So now, for example, lifting the 3 zeros. Lifting the 3 zeros could have been really one of the best things for Iraq, right? But just think about it. If something is good for you, and when you have like someone stopping it, like just for God's sake, when Shabibi went to, I believe it was like in, I remember when he got the announcement to arrest him, he was like in Asia or whatever was what he was doing there for business. And then when he was coming back to Iraq, he's about to, announce that he's about to pull the trigger, regardless of the government like it or not. But Maliki, right away, he put announcement to the president, and just think about it. Why someone like a politician, if something good for your country, you don't want to do that? I'm going to tell you why now. And this is one of the reasons why there's so many delays, so many years for lifting the 3 zeros. See, the auctions, those corruption, by the way, all the politicians in Iraq, All right, all the politicians in Iraq, they own banks, and every bank they own, they have money exchangers, right? This I'm talking about a long time ago. So what happened when the central bank of Iraq, they used to sell dollar, right? Who control the banks? The politicians. That's why the politicians get millionaires and billionaires in Iraq. So you used to, I'll give you an example. They used to go to the central bank of Iraq with basically fake documentation that they're trying to import stuff from overseas. And let's say, for example, I'd say, oh, I need $10 million, right? Because I'm gonna import. This is just a small example. I'll give you the $10 million. Out of that $10 million, and they take it at the official rate, whatever it is, like 1,600 at that time, or 1,310 right now. So those same politicians that they own the bank, right, which is behind closed doors, they go buy the $10 million, and I give whatever equivalent in Iraqi dinar to central bank. I take those $10 million, and guess what I do with it? I give it back to my businesses, right? Money exchange that I own. And then what I do now, I sell it from 1310, which is like 1,400, 1,500. Now for every 10 dinars, it's almost a profit 1 penny. So now every day you see it 200 million, 300 million. So those people, those politicians, all the corruption just from the auction by itself, they were making more than $3 billion a year profit. Okay, again, they were making more than $3 billion profits. And the problem is the U.S. basically gave them that idea about the auction. Remember when we went there and they had no currencies, whatever, they come with the auction. But those politicians, like they loved it. It's like, wow, this is like a money-making machines. No, where are we going to stop this? Right? So we created a monster, but the monster, it's so bad that they're so greedy, right? Selfish. They're not doing nothing to the country. And this is one of the reasons that they keep delaying lifting the 3 zeros. So let me ask you a question now. You ask yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who doesn't benefit from lifting the 3 zeros? The corrupted, right? Because
Right,
if you
corrupted
lift
politicians.
the 3 zeros, right, what's going to happen? That's mean you're going to be able to enter to Article 8. That's mean your Iraqi is going to be recognizable, tradable internationally. But first you have to lift the 3 zero first. And then what's going to happen? Then the auction definitely will stop. And guess what? Those politicians, what are they going to do? They're going to lose over $3 billion from the money that they used to make from corruptions. So now here it is. Do you think those people, they want Iraq or the central bank to lift the 3 zeros? No. Just think about it. If I give you a machine making money, right? I'm going to give you like a machine. I'm going to tell you, Carl, this machine is going to make you money. You're going to print money every day in your house. But I'm going to tell you, you know what? Next week I'm going to come up. I'm going to take the machine from you. What are you going to say? You're going to say, oh, no, Delta, I'm not going to be home. You're going to keep giving me excuses, right? Excuses, delay after delay. And this is exactly example of lifting the 3 zeros. Now, just let everybody know, when you see those articles right now talking about the exchange rates up and down, that doesn't benefit us as an Iraqi dinar investor. The only word is going to be good for us. We have to hear again is lifting the 3 zeros. If you don't hear that, then it's not happening. Right? And then we'll talk again about the other stuff, about the budget and all kind of stuff. That's why I sent you the other article to show what I was, talking about before. So this is what basically summarize what's going on in this Iraq. So the corruption is doing that. Yes, you got a U.S. basically a representative in charge in Iraqi monetary policy, but you know what the problem is? The person that is in charge in that, he get bribes all the time. Every time when they get the close to live the 3 zeros, guess what happened?
So it pays him to not do it.
Let's say I'm in charge of that, right? They come to me and say, Delta, you know what? We know you guys plan to have to live the 3 zeros. Wait a minute, because if you do that, I'm going to lose money as a corrupted politicians. I tell you what, I'm going to give you $20 million. Let's delay the case. Let's delay the project. I'm going to give you $30 million. Anybody can do it. And this is what's going on. Number two is, if they live the 3 zeros, right, the other country is going to be really hurt a lot. Is going to be Iran. Because Iran imports everything to Iraq, more than million. This is how they control Iraq, right? And this is what the problem is here, right? And you think about it. If something good in the country, why are you waiting until 2003, for God's sake? This is like 2024. This is like, what, 21 years? Whatever it is. If something's good, then why people stopping it? Who's stopping that? And that's the problem, that a lot of people that invested in Iraqi dinar, they have to understand. You have to learn the culture. All right, and don't believe anybody is telling you it's going to happen today, tomorrow, the next day. I saw whatever it is. There's money in the machines, lower denomination. There's nothing like that right now.
Right.
So this has hopefully answered that questions, Carl.
It does. It does. Pimpy, what's your take on all that? People are in the comments wanting to know your take on what Delta had to say there.
No, I've been preaching that for 15 years, saying that one of the biggest issues with Iraq is the corruption. You keep hoping that there are politicians to get in there. They talk a good talk, just like he was saying. But if you can't square away that corruption, this is what you're going to be dealing with all the time. The thing that I think is different this time, well, appears to be different, is at least when Al-Kadhimi was in office, he appeared to be removing a lot of corrupt people. I think he removed somewhere in the neighborhood of 4,000 senior management people in their positions because of corruption. Now, that's what they tell us. Did they do it? I don't know. It's kind of hard to say whether or not it was done, but at least that's what was in the news. So corruption is always an issue. It's like the Zim dollar. When I spoke about that, I said, you guys, you got to understand that there's a lot of hurdles you got to go through, but one of the biggies are corruption. This is why they stay in sanctions. People go, well, Iraq shouldn't be punished so much by the United States. Why do they keep punishing them for all this stuff for 20-something years? I said, oh, it isn't the United States. It's the corruption that keeps them in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
Why would they want to change it? I spoke to people. I did videos explaining that Maliki owns a bank. What's the other guy? Al-Qaeda, whatever the heck his name is. He owns a bank. And, they don't want to change this auction. You got to remember they're Iranian-backed puppets. And they use the auction windows to funnel U.S. dollars over to Iran. Well, I mean, they got caught and the United States told them to stop. Did they? I don't know. But they were desperate and turned to the black market and caused that gap in the exchange rate. They're willing to give up more Iraqi dinars. Kyle said, because people have no faith in it. I said, well, it's more because Iraq or Iran wants U.S. dollars more than anything. I wouldn't say so much that they have confidence in it, but people forget when Al-Kadhimi was in office, they were paying dues and money owed to Iran in an agreement they would take the Iraqi dinar. What Iran thought they would do was run those dinars to this currency auction and get U.S. dollars, but they got stopped. It caused a huge liquidation problem, a huge currency issue over in Iraq. All these things all contribute to the evaluation of the value, I should say, of the Iraqi dinar. They all contribute to it.
Right. So real quick, clear this up. I got people asking, and I get this all the time, about the difference between Kuwait and Iraq. So here, Unapologetic Woody, how did Kuwait in the same year they were liberated introduce a new lower denomination currency and revalue it at one Kuwaiti dinar for $3.45 when pre-invasion it was 12 Kuwaiti dinar, 1 and growing cents? Delta or Pimpy, can you guys shed some light on?
No, they actually reinstated the same rate. It didn't change because even though they were invaded, their economy and everything was still the same. Nothing changed for them. It wasn't 20 years later. It was only a few months later after they were liberated. Of course, they changed the currency, the look of it, because Iraq stole a lot of it. So once they got the new currency out, all they did is reinstate the rate. Remember, one was done by punishment. The other one was done for protection. So nothing changed in Kuwait for them to lose their value, unlike Iraq.
Mm-hmm. Delta, what do you got to say, my friend?
So basically what happened in Kuwait, for number one, in Kuwait, remember, they had no sanction. They have no Article 7 slap on them. Number two, there's a misunderstanding about Kuwait. Kuwaiti dinar never devalue internationally. The only things what happened is the Kuwaiti citizen inside of Kuwait, they had no trust in it because they thought Saddam was going to come take it. So what happened? The price, the exchange rate inside Kuwait, it dropped all the way down like to 10 cents, and we know the story. But here's the thing that a lot of people that misunderstand there. If you go to the IMF website, you'll never see the Kuwaiti dinar devalue, right? The official rate was still this official rate, but what happened? The panic of the citizen did make the Kuwaiti dinar become worthless. Like inside Kuwait, like what's going on in Iraq right now, the other way around. As let's say it's a 1,500 in black market, right? But it's 13.10 in the official rate. The other way around it happened in Kuwait because Saddam took all this money. But officially, And that's another mistake that a lot of people that compare Kuwait to Iraq, because really, Kuwait, they never devalued their currency. The currency wasn't even devalued. And that's the difference between Iraq and Kuwait. And number two, you have to keep in mind, I mean, Kuwait, they're hardly like a 2 million people population. They don't have to print a lot of money. It's very easy to do, right? But again, remember, they had no sanctions on them. And that's another mistake and this what, I mean, as some people that come from lack of education, and they used to give Kuwait as an example, so that way investor can jump in and buy Iraqi dinars and something like that. But it never devalued. This is the difference between Iraq. Iraq, they have sanctions. They have, again, it's one of the requirements. We're going to get to that shortly too, as well. And so I have one of our questions as well, Carl, is one of the requirements for Iraq to enter Article 8 to be accepted to get Article 8. It's lifting the 3 zeros.
Right.
That's a must thing before you even go international, right? And this is but this is the thing between Kuwait and Iraq. Kuwait is different. You're comparing apples and orange, which is totally different. And again, just to clear up, you can go back in the past. Kuwaiti dinar internationally, like the official exchange rate, was never devalued, and that's the difference.
Okay.
Well, it was devalued, but they never lost their value. You know what I mean? You couldn't take, no banks would take Kuwait dinars because they stopped exchanging them, stopped taking them. So they devalued down to 10 cents, like you said earlier. But what you're saying is the actual currency never lost its value. Even though they devalued it, they didn't lose their value. They didn't do anything to lose their value like Iraq did. Not to mention that you had Saddam Hussein printing the shit out of money like nobody's business. That really killed the Iraqi dinar too. Right.
So real quick here, kind of a different thought process for you guys. Someone was saying that what does the chart mean? 1 million IQD equals 1,298 XRP Ripple. I guess that was on Miss Chella's site today. If I had to guess, that's just the price of whatever Iraq IQD is today, and whatever.
Yeah,
the price
just
of
like
XRP.
You would do. Well, when you go to like a 4X, right, and you're doing a comparison one currency for another, what is the exchange rate? What that is the exchange rate if you're going to swap your XRP value for the Iraqi dinar or buy the XRP with your dinar. That's just what the value is compared to the XRP value. So they're just they're using the cryptocurrencies as an actual currency in these pairing. They're called currency pairings is what they're called.
Currency pairings. Okay. So real quick, Delta, you were starting to touch on Article 8 compliance and the 3 zeros. What will the landscape, in you guys' opinion, look like when it's prime for us to revalue? A corruption aside, we can never really say one way or another, but what do we got to look like? Because I know, Delta, we were talking about how the parallel market and the official exchange rate need to be within 2%. Can you paint a picture of what the landscape will truly look like, in your opinion, when we get to that threshold?
Absolutely. So this is actually a very good question too. Like right now, what the Central Bank of Iraq, the government, they're shooting for right now, they're trying to have stability in the exchange rates inside Iraq. As you see, if you remember, they changed the rate since almost February, or let's say last year, which was 13.10, and today we're January 2024, and until now they cannot control the price. It's about 15.10, 15.20 at the market right now. So what they're trying to do right now, they're trying to eliminate dollars from use like inside Iraq, which they should have done a long time ago, by the way. That's not like brilliant. You should have done that a long time ago. But anyway, no more dollars and trading inside Iraq. That's really a very positive thing, very good thing. Everybody has to use dinars. You're gonna still get some dollars, but they have only certain entities that they're allowed now to handle the dollars, right? Not everybody, not like everybody else. They're still doing auctions, by the way. So for those they looking at the CBI, because 4 or 5 days ago I got a text, someone telling me that the CBI is down, and then the rate is going to change, and everything. That's not the case. So that's why people are misunderstanding this. And Carl, the article that I sent you, I'm not sure if you can, if anybody can see it or they can read it. Even the Prime Minister Sudani, right? He predicted the Iraqi dinar exchange rate, and that is 13.20. So I have an article for you there. I just sent it to Carl as well. I mean, we can read it for you, no problem. But this was like around mid 2023. So that gives an indication that the government, the CBI, everybody else, they trying to be within a 2%. This is a must thing. This is the first step in the right directions, right? So now let's hope that they're gonna have control. They have to be within a 2% between the official rate and the market rate. So let's say they succeeded and they have that there, right? Number one.
Mhm.
Number two, they have to be stable for a while, right? They have to do that. They have to make sure that the Iraqi citizen have confidence in Iraqi dinars again before they do anything else, right? And then we have, like, for us again right now, as an Iraqi dinar investors, I'm not looking for them to tell me I want to change the exchange rate. I'm gonna do this. I'm looking for only one statement, which is lifting the 3 zeros. If I don't hear that lifting the 3 zeros, then I mean, I'm telling you right now, nothing's gonna change for us. And again, if they drop to 1,200 dinars or 1,100 dinars, it's not gonna work for us. It doesn't matter. For us, we have to see lifting the 3-0 article. We have to see the CBI ready for that. But now here's the questions: are they ready for that? My answer is no. Are we going to see anything within the next 2-3 months? The answer is no. The budget, by the way, if you hear, they're trying to pass the 3-year budget, and the budget has a program rate in it, right? Why are they doing that? Because for them now, the priority, it's not lifting the 3 zeros for now, right? And then again, the budget is going to come up, and again, a lot of people they talking about this, and this was a misunderstanding between me and the others in the past. Because when I told everybody, if the budget comes out and we have because you have the draft, you have like the numbers there, then they cannot change that. And there's another article that I sent you, Carl. I'm not sure if you can let it show it to the family that they're listening to us, that they can see it. In 2013, an article came up from CBI denying lifting the 3 zeros. And one of the reasons, if you read all that, Carl, I'm not sure if you read the whole thing, they think that, oh, by the way, it's too late now, we cannot do it because the budget was calculated in the current currency. Right. So what that basically means, that's mean every time when they pass the budget and they have the program rate in it like they're going to have right now, that's mean the Central Bank of Iraq and the government of Iraq, they cannot revalue any time. They have to wait till the next year. Now, how the process works. Let's say, for example, Iraq succeeded, they're the 2%, and they do have the intention to look the 3 zeros, let's say, the next window of opportunities, right? So what happened before they draft the next budget? The Minister of Planning, Minister of Finance, and the Central Bank of Iraq, they sit together before they draft the budget, and Minister of Planning as well. So if there's any intention for them to lift the 3 zeros or do the exchange, they have to do it before they do the draft, because after they pass the budget, they cannot change the rate again. And there's another article proof from Madhar Saleh, which is one of the deputies. I did send it to Carl too. He's stating right there that we can change the rate only in our beginning of the fiscal year. Mm-hmm. So here's the thing. If anybody tells you that they can change the rate in June, July, August, I got the proof right here. I got you all this article. And it's not coming from Delta. This is coming from the central bank officials. So right there it tells you, right? And by the way, this budget that's coming up right now, they have a program rate. So for those that expecting and hearing that is going to happen every day, I'm giving it to you right now. And I mean, I can bet all my dinars on it as well. Nothing is going to happen this year. Now, let me go back to the process. Let's say they succeeded, they did everything. Then they get the blessing from the IMF. Then you're gonna hear some article talking about, okay, we're gonna plan to live the 3 zeros. For example, I'm just giving an example. I'm not gonna give you the date. Let's say they're gonna say in 2025, early 2025, we're gonna live the 3 zeros. And this is how the process works, right? But now, the Central Bank of Iraq, by the way, a month ago, they came up and they said they have no intention at all to change the exchange rate of the dollar dinar. The only things what they're doing right now, they're trying to stable the black market with the official rate. This is the first priority for them. And the other one is to make sure the Iraqi citizens deal with dinar so they can have confidence before they move on. Remember, there's two things before they move on to the project listing the 3 zeros is financial stability and security. And this is what the two important stuff that's going on right there. And just think about it. If they have an intention to do anything, right, why approve the budget for 3 years? Now, I know a lot of you might say, oh, they can't amend the budget, they can do this and that. So what I really, my speculations is, I want to be honest with you, of course, every year we have a potential, but not every month. Every time we look around, December, January, maybe February, that's it. If they pass the budget as a done deal, then you have to wait on it. For those like they have no patience in the record laws and they think it's going to happen every day. I'm just saving a lot of time because 4 years ago, Carl and Pimpy, I told everybody the same thing what I'm telling you right now. 90% of the listeners, they didn't like whatever they hear. And they said, oh, Delta, you're negative. Oh, Delta, you're negative. But then
they love me. I don't know what you're talking about.
And
everything you're saying, I've already said. I said if they're going to make changes to the budget, to the exchange rate, they got to do it at the beginning of the year. Why? Because businesses within Iraq plan their whole year based off the exchange rate. You know how expensive that is to change it mid-year? It's not going to happen. They got to do it in the beginning of the year. That's it. After that, it's a no-go unless something spectacular happens. But I doubt you can find anything that's going to make that happen. But they don't want to hear the truth. They want you to blow smoke up their butt is what they want you to do.
Well, that's just it. I'm reading some of the comments, and the people are like, this is depressing, and boo, and guys.
It's only depressing to those people who've been eating up all these lies. For people who've been listening, paying attention, and getting educated and staying grounded, this isn't depressing. You go, yeah, I already know about this.
Okay, I'm going to tell you something. Just let me explain something to a lot of people. I mean, I completely understand. And the reason some people they get depressed when they hear something like that because they basically got taught that it's going to happen every day. That's why they for so many years, a lot of Iraqi investors, they're in the assumption that it's going to happen. It's not their fault, right? It is their fault, by the way, because they keep listening to the same kind of wrong information.
Crap.
Right? And this is what's going on. But I want to tell you something. What if I start when it starts today, basically this call, right? On YouTube, and but imagine me telling everybody, for example, oh, it's going to happen next week. Carl, I got boot, I got connections, I got everything, and I was told it's going to happen next week. And then everybody right now,
numbers on the back screen.
Yeah. So
we're at the Redemption Center standing by.
So imagine me just telling that right now, right? You're gonna see a lot of people, oh, they're happy, but listen to this. What if it doesn't happen next week? Then how are you gonna feel? But the problem is, I have people listen.
Well, that's because the listeners spend the money before they get it. You know what I mean?
Right.
In their minds, they're already, this is what I'm gonna do. This is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna get a badass car. I'm gonna get a mansion. I'm gonna have, I'm gonna be snorting coke off hookers' asses. It's like, come on, man. Dude, don't spend the money before it's actually in your account and you can see that they're across the numbers. You know what I mean? Even if you heard today, the exchange rate is this today, that's exciting. But make sure you know that there's a place to go to make your exchange, that you actually get the money, that it gets into your bank account. You see it there, you can touch it, you can do whatever before you get overly excited and start buying hookers.
And that's a good point too, And then it's so funny. Like I told you 4 years ago, when I told everybody about this, and like I told 90%, they're basically upset. And then gradually, every 2-3 months, I see most of those other people that were upset. They'll just texting me back. So Delta, you know what? You're right. Nothing's going on, man. I should have listened to you. I said, no, I'm not here to show off, right? I'm here to help people. Believe me, I'm not getting anything. And just think about it. I mean, why Delta is going to say this information, and I'm invested too in Dinars, right? I have no gain. Actually, it should be the other way around. You know what?
That's something I think is funny. Like these people,
I could have say every week is going to happen, right? And just make fun of everybody. I'm not like that. That's why I want to be honest with you. And I told you earlier, I like what you bring into the table, Carl. Regardless, right? But yeah, some people that might be disappointed, people that don't like what they hear, but at the end, you're going to know that is going to help you out. You know how many people, like I told you right now, I got more than 2,000 people right now that I talk to, and they trust me. They say, Delta, whatever you said, man, you're right. And thank you very much for being, because I was hooked to every forum, every YouTubers, because they say it's gonna happen. I couldn't do anything. I got lazy. I got like back financially down because I was listening to this and that. But thanks to you, because finally I realized, and he told me. I mean, a lot of people, they told me the same thing. They said, Delta, first of all, we didn't believe you. We thought that no way, no, it's gonna happen. I mean, why are you gonna believe Delta over this and this and that? No, these people, they own banks, they own this, and we're not gonna believe Delta. But then this is 4 years. When I left, right? When I left and I told everybody what's going to happen, this is 4 years. Was it 2020? And I told exactly everybody what's going to happen. But nobody believed me. This is 2024. And people are still getting disappointed when you give them the right information, right? And I don't understand. I mean, don't you want someone to be honest with you? You
No,
want someone
they
to be
don't.
the truth? I mean,
I'm telling you right now, they love the phantasm. They love the fantasy world. They want people to lie to them. I say this all the time. I went shopping for fishing lures with my father, and I go, ooh, these fishing lures are really fancy. And my father said, don't let the fishing lures attract you more than they attract the fish. And you can apply that to anything. Don't let the things don't be attracted to people who are saying just the things you like. You know what I mean? They make your ears feel good because, it's just, you're pumped full of hopium. Listen to what people have to say. Stay grounded, man. And you start to go through and listen to everybody. You learn discernment. You figure out who's full of crap, who isn't. At least I like to think so. But I
had it as a joke, right? And I told a couple of people that I know one time, because it's like, like a misunderstanding, and as a joke in the part, right? I told him, okay, I tell you what. If I'm wrong, I'm gonna give you all my dinars. I'm gonna bet you all my dinars that's not gonna happen, right? But can you bet me the same? That is going to happen, because everybody's saying it's going to happen, right? January, February, March can happen anytime. But I'm telling you, no, it's not going to happen. But nobody's willing to take the bet.
Oh, I'll do you better. I literally challenged the Dinar content creators out there. I said, I offered them $5,000 if you could beat me in a debate and you could prove me wrong. None of them ever took me up on that offer. And I told the people out there, what does that tell you? I mean, come on now. If you're so confident, you have your intel person, you're so right. Why wouldn't you go on Pimpy show and go, you know what? I'll take that challenge because that's easy $5,000. Nope.
And here's the thing too. I mean, the Iraqi dinars again. I mean, it's a good investment, but again, it's like any other speculative investment, right? And remember, this is Iraq too. I'm not, but the reason that I'm coming in and talking again, because remember, that time 4 years ago, I said, I'm not gonna involve anymore because whatever I tried to help is not working out. But even though I have a lot of good people, they took the advice and it really helped them out. I'm here just to help out.
Yeah.
Right? I'm not asking you to believe me, right? I'm not asking you, but I'm asking at least how you consider whatever I said. And since I have a credibility, I mean, I have more credibility than anybody in the Iraqi community for the last 4 years.
No.
Just tell me who was right 4 years ago, right? So you have to look at credibility. You have to look at the resume, right? You have a company. You have to look at the resume, right? So when you have someone tell you it's going to happen every month, every 2 months, especially if it's hurting you too, why do you keep listening to them, right?
Well, that's just it.
Why are you doing?
Addicted to that opium, man.
With all due respect, I mean, there's something wrong with you. If I lie to you every day and you still like me, hey, man, I don't know.
No, think about if it was a real relationship that you're in, man, woman, or man, whatever you're into, shit. And every day your partner keeps telling you, they're lying to you, I'm not cheating on you. I'm not cheating on you. But every day you keep catching them cheating on you over and over. Are you going to keep tolerating that for 10 years, 15 years? Because that's what this is like. When they lie to you guys, it's like cheating on you. Okay, I know you guys are going, no, it's not quite the same. No, it is, because mentally you're being tortured. Is what's happening. Is they're mentally abusing you by misleading you, but yet you stay there because you love the abuse.
And here's the thing. I mean, the thing is, I don't understand why. I mean, why someone do something like that right now? Why don't you be honest with people, right? And you should say, you know what, we don't know. Maybe we don't know. Maybe I might not have it another year, but for you to tell everybody it's going to happen every day, every week, right? And then, I mean, I remember one time I had an argument with one of the gentlemen, right? I told him, keep telling people it's going to happen every week. He said, no, I didn't say that. I said, yes, It's all over. It's gonna happen. Well, next week we have a 15, 16. They're gonna go digital. They're gonna go this. Okay, that does. And here's the thing. My advice to every Iraqi investors, the Iraqi dinar investors, right? Every article comes out that doesn't mean it's a revalue. When the central bank of Iraq website goes down, that doesn't mean they're going to revalue. All right. So this is the thing that it doesn't make any sense. Every time the CBI goes down, oh my God, I'm gonna go sell it. I'm gonna quit my job tonight because the CBI went down. Right.
Every time there's a new budget, the new rate's going to be in there.
Yeah.
They can't do any of the new projects with this old rate, even though they've been doing it for 20 years. You know, it's funny, all these things that people tell me. Pimpy, they got to change their rates. How are they going to do all these projects? I said, the same way they've been doing it for 20 years with a piss poor exchange rate. How's that change? It's the same. So you're trying to tell me for 20 years they haven't done any projects? They've been sitting there in mud huts, living in the Dust Bowl? I mean,
actually, I'm gonna give you another example, another country, right? Because they're talking about the exchange rate. Vietnam. Vietnamese dong is about what, 16, 17,000. How are they doing business for the last so many years, right?
42,000 in on every dollar.
Right. So here's the thing is, I mean, again, we know that the project within the 3 zeros that still exists. We know the Central Bank of Iraq, they say that. But again, this is Iraq. You know, the Middle Eastern culture is totally different. Don't believe anything you see there, unless it's seen there. And again, you don't have to listen to me, to use to any kind of dinar guru in order for you to know what's going on. You should go to the Central Bank of Iraq website. You can change the rate every day if you want to, and you'll see there. If it's going to change, you'll see. You don't need intel. You don't need boot in the ground. You don't need numbers in the back.
No, my favorite is the 3-letter agencies are controlling all this, and they just want to keep you from making money. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about?
So real quick, Delta, people are asking, and just a little bit, some people that are new to these forums probably don't remember you. Can you give a little background? I know you don't want to mention names or where you started. Can you give a little background about, you know, where you're from? And one of the questions somebody asked is, can you confirm anything about the validity of Walking Stick, and if Walking Stick is actually real, and any truth behind what's been going on with Walking Stick? That's one question that I've had. And they want a little background about what makes, you know, Delta so high and mighty.
Okay, but no, that's a valid question, which is I'm originally from Middle East. I'm in the U.S. right now. I have a dual citizenship. You know, I go to Iraq. I'm from Syria. My wife is from Iraq originally. We're in the U.S. right now. I go back and forth. But after COVID, of course, I stayed here in the U.S. And I speak the language very fluently. You know, I speak, I read, and, you know, all kind of stuff there. And as far as the second questions, I started with KTFA. I started with Frank, which is I have a lot of, you know, I respect the guy, the family, and there. And again, like I said earlier, we got together, was about, I'm not sure what years was that, but like almost 4 or 5 years. We used to do like conference call every day, like 4 or 5 hours. We get together, we give a lot of stuff to the family. And then Walking Stick used to basically post in our KTFA, but I never met the guy, right? And he was just communicating with Frank only. We didn't have, I mean, and Frank said that this is what Walking Stick want. That's his request. I respected that. He wanted to communicate with Frank only, right? But then we got the misunderstanding at the end. And here's the thing. I mean, all of us, we agree, and, you know, the ragged and is going to happen. We know that. But the misunderstanding that happened between all of us is I was telling them that it's not going to happen anytime, and they were telling me, no, it could happen at any time. And that was the problem there, right? So a lot of information was coming from Walking Stick, with all respect. Again, I don't know the guy. I never met him. I never talked to him. But a lot of things at the end, it didn't make any, I mean, it didn't make any sense. Okay, now the guy, supposedly he owned banks, right? And he owned all that. But in December, when they devalued the currency, he didn't know about that. Now, if you own banks, right, you're supposed to know about those rates. Now, you devalue. And then when I came up and I told them, you know, we used to have a lot of, you know, calls, private calls, all of us. And again, I have a lot of respect to everybody. And again, I'm not attacking no person, but I'm talking about credibility here as far as intel. But a lot of stuff did happen. And even, I mean, I remember even at that time, because I want to be honest with you, I got hurt too financially, because I believe in something, but then again, they're telling me no, but Walking Stick said no, they can reveal you anytime. Even one time, I mean, everybody got excited. I mean, it's all over, all over YouTube when he said that he got the contract. After 3 months, they're going to remove 1 0, 2 0, 3 0. Then by June, July, whatever this was the year, we're going to live the 3 zeros.
I still hear that from time to time when people go, "Oh, Group 1 or Tier 1 is already swapping out their dinar currencies." I said, "Do you have proof?" Well, no. They had to sign an NDA. Yeah.
And here's the thing. I mean, here's the thing. With all respect to, I mean, everybody too. Again, I don't know if the guy's real or not. I'm not, because I never talked to the guy. But again, the time that I know that he's not credible, whatever it is, right? When I told him that Muhammad Mathar Saleh, which is the deputy of the CBI, he said that the same article that I sent you, Carl, when he said that the only time we can live the 3 zeros or do something has to be the beginning of the fiscal year, and then if the budget is done, we cannot do it anytime. But then when these things happen, right? Because a lot of people, to be honest with you, they didn't know why I left KTFA. Again, I have respect to everybody, but I'm talking here about Intel credibilities. But then they told me, no, I can say no. He said, no, they can do it anytime they want to. And then I went back, I said, maybe I'm wrong. But again, I said, wait a minute. I mean, this is the central bank. You tell me that the central bank of Iraq, they don't know. I mean, I know more than them or Frank or anybody else. No. And that's what happened, the misunderstanding, right? For me, I was trying to give the right information to people. And then the last, 2019-20, I got to the way that it's unacceptable to me, to my belief, right? Because I wanted everybody to hear the truth. And this is what happened. I mean, I have a lot of respect and love to Frank, his family, and I know very well. I saw him a couple of times. I wish him all the best. But again, Walking Stick, to answer that question, I'll be honest with you, I don't know if the guy exists or not, because I never talked to him. I mean, he's too right. But again, yeah. So if anybody,
they're about to beat us up. We're about to be bombarded with, how could you say that?
Yeah, I mean, this is the reality. People, they actually, they got the right, the right to know exactly what's going on there. And again, we don't know what's going on. But this is just think about it, this is 4 years, right? This is 4 years and this investment. And they keep telling the same thing, giving hope to everybody. Because I'll be honest with you, a lot of people, they didn't know why I left KTFA, right? A lot of people thought that, because I got bored and I got tired and I give up. And I know that was not the case. They were told that, right? But that was not the case. Because
you weren't one of those special tiers that got to trade in your Iraqi dinar early, and you just weren't out there living high off the hog? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, they give me like 3,000 dinar per dollars. I don't know. Special deal there. But anyway, this was going on. That's why I want to be honest with you. After that, I promised myself not to go anywhere else. And then I believe Militiaman too. I mean, I respect Militiaman. He opened his own place. He separated from Frank, as everybody knows. I used to talk to him all the time. He used to listen to me. He's like all the time. We used to talk at KTFA. After I left, we had the connections as well. He opened his own place too, Discord, and I joined them. But unfortunately, it wasn't that clear, because when I was trying the truth, they put me in timeout. Believe it or not. Timeout.
So many listeners I hear when they go, when I bring something up or ask a question or I ask them to prove it, they get mad, just kick me out of the group. I said, well, what did I tell you about the content creator? If they can't have dialogue and explain things to you, but they just kick you out just to avoid answering you.
And here's the thing. I mean, you're going to have a lot of people criticizing you, right? You don't have to ban them. You don't have to.
Not me. Everybody love me.
And here's the thing. I mean, especially me, because, I would tell you something. Everybody now, that's why I give you an example. 4 years, credibility. And whatever I said, it didn't happen. Nothing happened right now. Yeah, every year they do the budget, whatever it is. But for you to ban someone because the thing that I'm bringing, it doesn't basically fit your agenda, that's not right. Because eventually people are going to know that. Why are you giving misinformation? Now, if you don't know it, that's a different story. It's up to you not. I don't know. But see, all this could have been solved if at that time, 2020, they should have said, you know what, we should consider what Delta is saying. But everybody was thrown under the bus. Oh, no way. Because see, what happened exactly is there's an article, and this is what created that.
Welcome to my world, oh boy. That's me every day.
Yeah. So what happened is there was an interview that happened with the Central Bank of Iraq, and was in media, was in Arabic. They asked me to translate that. And I did translate. The guy was saying that we have no intention to do this and that and lifting this. Everybody was in the hype that time, all of us, that this is going to happen. But then I told everybody the truth, and then everybody didn't like that. I told, well, you asked me guys to translate, right? I'm translating that for you. So I'm not the CBI. I'm not the one that pulled the trigger. Believe me, I love this to happen tonight.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you exactly what's going to happen. And this is what
like
happened.
when you relay information to them, you show them the article, or you're showing them where you get the information from, and they're attacking you. It's like, I'm not the one writing the article. I'm showing you where the information is coming from. What are you attacking me for? But after a while, you just get tough skin. I just don't care. Get pissy all you want. They'll get mad. They'll claim they're not listening to you no more. I haven't listened to you in years. But I guarantee every time you release a video, they're there listening because they know there's credibility there. You know what I mean?
And again, here's the thing. My whole kind of goal here to join you and come again after 4 years, right? Because I have no gain out of this. I can say, no, I'm not going to join you, Carl. I go do it by itself. I don't care anymore. They can do whatever. They can listen to anybody they want. My goal here is not to show off. So my whole goal here is to help those that they still don't understand with the policy of Iraq, and to understand that just be careful right now, right? It's all up to you. It's your money. You can listen to anybody you want. If you want to, listen to them and keep, with the hype every day, every month, it's all up to you. But you're gonna hurt yourself.
Right.
Because I'll be honest with you, a lot of us. I'll be honest with you. The 2020 was the year that I said, what, this is it. But when they devalue, it shocked all of us, right?
Oh, me for the end of 2019 going into 2020, I thought that it looked like that was going to be the time. As soon as we got into 2020, I was like, everything just exploded. I was like, everything's screwed up, man. They devalued. Everybody got on lockdown. I was like, what? I just, for some reason, felt like this is it after all this time. And wah, wah, wah. You know what I mean?
Right.
It just
yeah. Here's the thing. It's again, corruption's a lot of Iraq. They're not with their priority right now. And again, that doesn't mean it's not going to happen. It's going to happen, eventually. But it looks like the rumors is, I'm not sure what it is, that they might, there's not rumors actually. That's what they're trying to do within 2-3 years. I think it was like 2019, 20. They say like 21. They said you have to wait 3 years, 4 years. But again, anything could happen.
Prior to that, you remember in like 2014, 2015, they told everybody we're not going to do anything with the exchange rate for like 4 years. Then 2019 came and everybody's like, remember the time frame's done, it's done. And then all of a sudden they went, well, we're not going to do yet. We'll do it in another 7 years. And everybody was pissed about it. And I go, well, 2026 would be 7 years. So, you can think about, think what you want. But I tell them, look, the truth of the matter is that doesn't mean that something can't come along and drastically change things. We don't know. So I don't want to say, no, it's never going to happen.
No,
but I'm saying we're dealing with probabilities, not possibilities.
Right. And here's the thing. Iraqi dinar, it is a good investment. We're not talking about that. The only things you have to be very careful, and you have to educate yourself. And if someone tells you something, now again, you don't have to believe me. And this is what I told even a lot of people 4 years ago when I used to say all the time, I'm telling you this is what I have. You don't have to believe me, but at least you should consider that, right? And not because you don't like whatever you hear, you put it on the side and not follow that, because it's going to hurt you, not hurt me. Believe me, for me, I know about the Iraqi dinars. I know exactly what's going on. I'm not like 4 or 5 years ago everybody was hooked into it. I cannot do anything. Everybody was lazy because of the Iraqi dinars. I'm gonna be millionaires overnight. I'm gonna do this and that. Okay, it could happen, but again, anything could happen. And that's what I said earlier too, that they're trying to stabilize exchange rate. Now they can do that, and you don't know. They might come back June, July, and say, you know what? We're gonna live the 3 zeros in early 2025, whatever the year. Yeah, it could happen.
Anything is possible, but what's the reality? We're dealing with probabilities, not possibilities.
Absolutely, and this is Iraq, and they just keep them. And again, we talked about it. Corruptions. They're trying to gradually show the world that Iraq is not. It's not. But again, it's gonna happen when we don't know. And then, but all the time, I told everybody, if you want to save the headache, you want to save your time, and you think it's going to happen, I'm going to give you like an advice. December, January, February, if the rate doesn't change, then wait till next year. That's it. Why are you wasting your time every month and every day? And listen to this. And then again, if you don't believe me, this is 4 years. Since 2020, I told exactly what I'm telling you right now. I'm telling everybody.
Well, the numbers are on the back screen and the people are at the redemption center. You're just not paying attention. You get letter agencies and all the other
there's nothing like that. And don't believe anybody tell you that. And if anybody tell you it's going to happen, nobody knows what is going to happen. Even Iraq doesn't know what's going to happen. until the right entity, they say, this is it, we're gonna do it. But it looks like
I don't know how many times I said that. You know what I mean? I go, well, my intel doesn't know nothing. There's two people they talk about. Once this agreement is made, it gets shared with the committee. But if they start talking about something ahead of time, the one guy I talked to that I know that is in the CBI, he said, do you understand what would happen if we knew when the exchange rate was going to happen and we took people away ahead of time? That's the death penalty, man. And I was like, is it really? He goes, yeah, they don't play. Think about what you're talking about. Word got out that we're going to change the dinar to this exchange rate on this date. How many people would rush out and buy all the Iraqi dinars? It would crush the economy. It would be really damaging to Iraq. I go, yeah, I mean, I know all that, but trying to explain it to people, well, so-and-so on this date and so-and-so on this rate, while your so-and-so is full of crap, okay? They're not going to tell you until it's time.
And even the CBI, like, if you remember, this is actually more confirmation about what you're talking about right now. When Dr. Shabi was in the U.S. a long time, and they asked him about lifting the 3-0. Remember when John asked him that in that conference, Shabi said something that was very, very,
the guy
very
asked him
important.
about the dinar exchange rate, and he started laughing. He goes, I mean, even if I did know, I couldn't tell you is what he said.
Absolutely.
I still got that YouTube.
Even if I know, I cannot tell you, because and here's the thing, even if I know, that's mean even Shabibi doesn't know, because we all know the U.S. definitely control the monetary policy of Iraq, and the U.S. yes, they don't want that to happen. A lot of stuff going on, Iran and the other side too. And again, even though the U.S. they're in charge, but remember, Iraq can delay too. Like I give an example all the time. Let's say you're gonna go buy a house, right? Your loan officer tell you, Carl, I need your check stubs. I need your this information there, and then I will meet you next time. So next time you go there and you don't show them the check stub, like a purpose is trying to delay that, right? So Iraq is the same thing. Like right now, for example, one of the obstacles that they have, believe it or not, the 2% compliance between the exchange rate and the official rate. I mean, the black market. That's small. I mean, they can control that, but they don't want to do that because they know that will delay it, right? That's why now they got to the point that, I mean, eventually it's going to happen, right? Even the guy that planned this wasn't even, planning to do that. I mean, when Bush took Iraq, the plan was just like 3-4 years max, and that's it, and take it back like before. But they keep delaying because they like the auctions, like I said, right? And then they don't want to do it. They're making billions a year. Say, wait a minute, forget about Iraq, forget about lifting the 3-0.
Well, let's be honest. The United States likes corrupt politicians leading countries because they know how to use money and greed to control these politicians. I mean, that's the real behind, Bush and them. They wanted access to the oil. Plus, there's other resources that a lot of people don't talk about, minerals, gold, but they definitely wanted access to the oil and, put corrupt politicians in there, ones that you could control, and just promise them millions of dollars if they just go along with what you want. And that's what they do. But it's not just in Iraq. It's all over.
Oh, it's all over. I mean, let's face it too. When we had like one of the best president Trump was, and he made the economy really good, regardless if you like him or not. But the guy, he did something that nobody even expected that, right? And one of the things why people why he had like 120 million followers, and say whatever it is, why they loved him a lot, because he was straightforward, right? He'll never give you BS. That's what people like him, because he was just straightforward.
Oh, right? No, he's definitely an outsider. Yeah. There's no doubt about it. He's an outsider that got into the highest place or highest position.
Absolutely. So again, regardless, but he was one of the best presidents ever in the U.S.
Oh, I think so.
Don't like that. So when you have
real quick, I was going to tell you earlier when we were talking about the 12-to-1 exchange rate. That's an actual law. That's an actual policy that Iraq had. And we've been trying to figure this out. Back in 2003, they implemented what was called the 12-to-1 exchange policy. And what we're trying to figure out is where did they use this exchange? Because it existed all the way up to 2019. They stopped, and they said they're going to revisit this again in 2026. But my thing is, that's 3 exchange rates: the parallel, the official, and they have this thing called the dual exchange rate, which is this $12 now to 1 Iraqi dinar. I had it backwards. I said $12 for $1, but it's $12 for 1 dinar. But my thought is, why have 3 exchange rates, and who is using the 12-to-1 exchange rate? That's what I wanted to know. And for 3 days, I've been, busting my ass trying to figure out. I know what they were doing. I know why they implemented it, but who was using it? Who had access to it? That's what I was trying to figure out. And now in this article that was it yesterday? Was it Carl yesterday or day before?
The day before.
They put out there that they're saying that, they're going to revisit it in 2026. And I was like, what?
Man, I mean, I want to be honest with you. Believe me, they do $12. They do $3. They do $4. I mean, anything is good for us. Any investors is good for Iraq, right?
Yeah.
But I'm not really sure about the $12 though. I mean, I'm not sure they're doing that.
Oh no, it's real. But my thing is, who has access? Because it's not an official.
Right.
It's not an official exchange rate that we have access to, but it is some kind of exchange rate that's being used to help. Is helping Iraq with their economy, stabilize the economy, stabilize the currency. But they say it was there to do that. But who the heck was using it? Who had access to it? That's what I wanted to know. Look,
I know it wasn't me.
Came along, gave me 10 cents per dinar. I would take it. Seriously.
I know it wasn't me. I wasn't using the $12.
No, man, but I'll fit. Watch. Give me time. I'll keep digging around. There's articles going all the way back. I know Guardian printed what the 12-to-1 exchange policy was. I know the Economist did, and they did a full-fledged article on how it worked and how it destroyed Iraq. But if that's the case, how come they held on to it for so long?
Right.
It's like, and then who the hell had access to it? Why three different exchange rates? And I remember reading the BTI report about that, where it said we had the dual exchange rate, the official exchange rate, and the parallel exchange rate. And I was like, what the hell is a dual exchange rate? Now I know what it is. It was a 12-to-1 exchange policy that Iraq had. So yeah, definitely. That's the latest buzz lately, is trying to figure out what that was all about.
Yeah, that's very interesting. Like I said, again, in Venezuela, they did have something like that, but of course it was different.
Well, it's not for us peons, obviously. It's not for us peons. That's my thing. I want to know who had access to it and how they were using it and why they were using it and why was it different. That's what I'm trying to get to the bottom of.
Right. Well,
yeah, that's very interesting.
Real quick, guys, before we're running long here, and I want to do another one of these because I have a ton of other questions, and so do the people.
Go ahead, rapid fire, go.
So Sadani, when Sadani says we're going to have more purchasing power, and how was the verbiage, Pimpy? Our currency will be
he just said
the father.
We have a strong currency than what it is right now. I promise you, later on down the line, it's going to be a lot stronger than it is. There's nothing wrong with trying to install confidence in the currency with the people. Now, are people out there going, well, he said it's going to be this rate? I go, no, He never said that's going to be a rate. He said that they were, in his opinion, a lot stronger of a currency than the U.S. dollar. Now, there's nothing wrong with expressing your opinion. That doesn't make it actual, because if it was stronger than U.S. dollar, then it would have a higher value, obviously.
Right.
So, there's nothing wrong with that. Their whole thing right now is really boosting the confidence of the people in the Iraqi dinar, even if that means your prime minister's out there being a cheerleader for it. It's no big deal. It's a good thing. Don't get me wrong, it is. But did you read an article today? Remember how they're trying to push everybody into a cashless within 6 months? And what did it say today? They're doing something to phase out the electronic platform. What the hell? Why? Because people are pissed about what's going on. Like Delta said earlier, look, these people they're cash people. They don't want to be dealing with that other crap that's out there. Now, that doesn't mean they can't be weaned to it eventually, but just to go in there and say, well, sorry, 6 months, you're ass out if you have dinars and you're going to have to use this platform. You're going to have a lot of people out there, And
the only time you can do that is when you lift the 3 zeros, and then you're going to force a lot of people to come with the cash, give the 3-0 note, get lower denomination, stuff like that. That's the only way. That's why I said is this is the magic word right now for any
Delta on the spot. You ready, Delta? Do they change the exchange rate before or after the deletion of the zeros?
It'll be actually the same time. You're lifting the 3 zeros from the exchange rate as well and phasing out the 3-0 notes.
Not necessarily.
Mm-hmm.
You can delete the 3 zeros off your currency and not change the value of it. As a matter of fact, most all of the time they ever deleted the zeros, they never changed the actual value of the currency, the exchange, that is. So what I'm telling people is, look, there's a possibility, okay? I'm not saying it's going to happen, but there's a possibility that they can delete the zeros and then change the exchange rate. And I want people to at least be aware of that. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen, but you should be at least aware that that's always a possibility. Do I think they're going to do that? No, because you'll have millions of pissed off people, man, not just in Iraq, but around the world.
But here's the thing: when the U.S. basically took over Iraq, and they put the new law, you know how it is when you live the 3 zeros, like it happened to Turkey, right?
Yeah.
Inside, outside the country will be like a lot, 3 zeros. But now what happened? Anybody hold Iraqi dinars outside the country, if they live the 3 zeros, that's going to be basically a revaluation. Like it's going to be, let's say, 83 cents or 60, whatever the cents is right now. But inside Iraq, it's going to be totally different. So this is the difference between there and there. Like Turkey and other countries was totally different when it happened, like inside outside. Yeah.
The people inside Iraq aren't really going to notice any kind of major jump in the exchange rate until the purchasing power changes, and there's a lag time on that. Then they'll realize that our exchange rate changes a lot of times, but do we notice it? No, we go about our days. Inflation, you'll see a price change. If there's a devaluation, I mean, with Iraq, the change in their denomination is going to make them feel good. It's going to make them feel like their currency's got more value. And but other than that, not until they see the change of the purchasing power will they even notice an exchange rate change.
And just to go back to what Soudani said, the prime minister, see, and a lot of people basically they misunderstood those things when they talk about right now the black market in Iraq. It's way higher than the regular. So people that have no confidence in Iraqi dinar. When he's talking about we're gonna make the Iraqi dinar stronger, he's not talking about the revalue at $2-3, where he's talking about inside the country again. When you see all this article, they're not talking about international. They're talking everything about the benefit of Iraqi citizen. The exchange rate inside Iraq. They're trying to make the dinar, like I said, have people more confidence, has better rate, and at least the exchange rate will be the same. Yep. And that's what he's talking about. We're going to make the Iraqi dinar stronger. And this is what, again, another problem is. When a lot of investors look at that, they say, "Oh well, wow, they're gonna. That's me now. We're gonna go $2. You're gonna revalue." This is not the case. He's talking about inside Iraq, and whatever they're doing right now, they're not doing for me and you and all investors outside, right? They're doing everything for their own citizens. They want to make sure that people have confidence. And again, like I said, yeah, I'm not sure what they're gonna do.
It's about the Iraqi people first, and if we benefit from it, well, then so have it. But the most important people are the people in Iraq. Period.
Absolutely. And that's what's going on there. What other question, Pimpy?
Oh, if you guys want to, go ahead.
Yeah, so we got PE keeps saying they're not going to answer our questions. PE, I haven't seen a question from you. I just see where you're just saying negative things that I'm not going to repeat on here.
That's because you got to drop everything you're doing and pay attention to them.
And I don't mind. I asked him for questions, but I'm trying to ask as many questions as I see. A lot of it's just we're clowns.
Well, unfortunately for you, we're both long-winded, so you ask the answer, we're going to give you a long explanation.
Yeah, no, that's great. I mean, I think we've tackled a lot of stuff, and the people that want to hear what the articles are really saying, we're giving it to you. If you want a slant, and us to tell you that my bank contact called me this afternoon, Pimpy, and he told me that
Intel Dale. I'll get him back on the video.
Yeah. My bonds people, they're all
what I say, the Dakota ring wearing special handshake Intel person that comes over there, pulls the one out your butt and sprinkles unicorn pixie dust on you.
No, the best one I heard a while back, I said this guy was in Iraq, he was just driving by the CBI and the light was on. And the CBI, that's mean they're in a lower denomination distribution coming soon.
In 2019, remember they were down and they're like, as soon as they come back up, there's going to be a new exchange rate. I was like, who the hell told you guys this, man? And I remember Jeff out there, not to drop no names, the Dinar investor, telling everybody, well, God put it upon me. I was like, well, whatever God you were talking to was lying to you. So it didn't happen, but that's the extremes that people will go to just to stay popular and get subscribers. Anyways, we're at an hour 24. I don't know how much long you want to go.
Yeah, no, we're getting it there. Real quick, your guys' take. Other currencies revalue. They want to know about other currencies. And somebody thought Pimpy was black. All right, we'll just throw that out there. No, Pimpy's not black, guys.
I'm black.
Oh, okay, he is black. There we go. But
Watch,
your
man.
take
You want to
on
see? Look. Come on, man. Let's just show them the truth. Go ahead. When you can't see no Jufro. This is a Jufro, just so you guys understand. Right now, I've been beating it down with my skull cap, but yeah.
So what Delta? I think I kind of know where you stand.
That's so racist because my name is Pimpy. I'm black. Wow, racist.
Right.
No, just
what's
kidding.
what's your take on Vietnamese dong, Indonesian rupiah, things of that nature?
That's a good question, actually, because I mean, I wasn't believing in the past that Vietnamese dong or something like that, but now I'm an assumption that Vietnamese dong they'll never revalue. I mean, they might go like Bips, but just think about it. And we talked about this earlier. Why they need to revalue? Just give one basically reason why they have to revalue.
An export company. Keeping the exchange rate low is what they want. They've been manipulating it for years.
Right. It is manipulated, and I agree with you 100%, but that doesn't mean they're going to revalue. If that worked for them for so many years, like I give you example only Saudi Arabia, right? Qatar, UAE. I mean, they could revalue at $5, $6, $7, but that doesn't work. Whatever those countries, they feel very comfortable with the rate what they are, right? There's no reason for them to revalue.
Here's the funny thing about Vietnam: their politicians get paid in U.S. dollars. Then they take them and swap them over for the Vietnam dong and live like kings. So why would they want to change the exchange rate? Not to mention, they're an export country. They do a ton of exporting. They're not going to want to change the exchange rate and make everything go up, and the costs go up, labor costs go up, product costs go up, services and fees go up. When you change the exchange rate, they're not going to revalue it. That's my opinion. If you guys want to watch a currency, watch the Japanese yen. Watch this over this next year. That's going to be something to keep an eye on.
I mean, you can make money in forex, like Bips here, Bip there. You can invest there. Those currency goes up and down. And you remember when the US dollar used to be almost 1-to-1 with the Canadian dollars, and then it jumped to it. Every US dollar was become $1.40 Canadian. A lot of people they make a lot of money in forex at that point. So you can make money in forex there. But Vietnam, I mean, I don't think they're going to revalue. I know a lot of brokers, they made a lot of money from Indonesian rupee, Vietnamese dong. I got the chance, actually, I saw one time a Vietnamese official, and I asked him specifically about the dong. He said, we'll never, they're happy with it. Like I told you right now, they'll never revalue. There's no reason for them to revalue, right? So now the only, you hope, if you're going to make money with currency, yeah, you can open account forex, and you can buy and sell currencies, they go like 1 penny, 2 pennies, you make money. This is what a lot of forex investors do, and this is what I was finding
Vietnam
too.
Don't have any restrictions. There's no sanctions on them or nothing.
Yeah, and this is nobody can tell them what to do, and that's the thing.
No.
So
somebody
Iraq is a unique kind of place, and again, it's they dragging it so long. It's way overdue. We know that. Frustrating a lot of countries, even Iraq. But again, I mean, corruption. But hopefully, we'll see. And again, we don't know. They might come up next 2, 3, 4 months. Say, you know what, we're gonna do it. But again, this is I mean, it could happen, but not any day or any time. And I'm telling everybody again, I'm not gonna like that or listening to us. And for those that are listening to me the first time, this is not gonna happen now. All right, it's the budget is already there. They have a plan even for 3-year budget. They have the program rate on them. Again, if they want to change the rate, yes, they might be able, but not every day. Iraq. Internationally, they're allowed only to change the rate once a year, and again, it's all in articles, all from the CPI, and there's a reason for that. They don't want to manipulate their currency. That's why every country they have only once. You notice this is what they do all the time. So why I'm saying this is to finalize with this. First of all, again, happy New Year to everybody, and for those that are listening to us here, believe me, we're not negative, right? All the time, you have to basically don't judge on those information. If you don't believe us, you can consider that, right? But you can see that. For those that know Delta, 4 years ago, whatever I'm telling you right now, I used to say the same. Nothing changed, and I'm straightforward like that. For the new one that you don't know me, you can go back and ask about Delta. There's people that know me; they know who's Delta, right? And again, we are all invested in the North. I mean, there's no way for me to give you like bad news. It's not even bad. I mean, bad news, whatever, if you're going to call it bad news, but there's no negative. When someone gives you the right information and the truth, you should respect that.
There you go.
But
Down
when
to the latest question right here.
lies to you, I give you wrong information. I'm not sure why I keep hanging on that. So if I tell you every day is going to reveal you're going to like me, I'm going to be positive. But I'm gonna make you bankruptcy, right? I'm gonna make you bankrupt every month because I'm gonna tell you it's gonna happen every month.
You
It's
see
gonna
this
happen every
question for
month.
you, Delta, right here?
What's that?
You see the question for you on the board here? I love when people ask you those questions because if you don't give the answers that they want, to go, oh, well, what do you know? You don't have no degree. You don't have no, you're not a banker. You don't know what you're talking about. Nope, right. I know how to read,
And I love how all of them are like, this is not the show for me. This is just negative. I'm going to go back to Mark Z or Militia. Go, because 2019, they told you it was this weekend. 2019, 2020.
2016.
I do have the question from the gentleman here. I don't expect that. He's talking about he never answered because I just saw your questions anyway. He said, what is your background, finance, government, or just another opinion beside knowing the language and being an Iraqi citizen? Right. I'm not sure who this gentleman is, but the credibility, buddy. I don't have to be a government official. I don't have to be basically connected, right? But sometimes you have experience based in all the stuff that I've been like in this investment for about since 2003. I got even people who work for banks that didn't even know what the IMF is. There was something like that. So it's credibility. Yeah, I might not have the government, and again, even the government, do you think the government knows? They don't know. But here's the thing: I'm not sure if you know me before, but what makes me basically that is credibility. 40 years ago, I said whatever I'm saying right now. Credibility, the resume, right? You might have. There's a lot of people that have no degrees or something, right? But they're experienced. They're probably better than me and anybody else.
I have 5 degrees.
There's a lot of people that have no mechanic, but I do have a lot of friends that has never even studied. He's one of the best mechanic ever. He can.
Well, look at there's John. You know who John Wooden is? Delta, you know who John Wooden is?
Who?
John Wooden. You know who he is? He used to be the college coach for UCLA. This guy won 10 championships. The best college basketball coach out there. He never played basketball. So, it's not good to you go, if you never played basketball, how do you know what you're talking about?
No, I mean, and for me too, believe me, for me, believe me, I respect every question, even the question. I mean, if the question is just you want to find out that, but sometimes it's how you ask the question, right? But for me, really, it doesn't matter. For me, I'm used to it. I'm used to a lot of people. I'm telling you. Yep. I mean, I was the only guy. I mean, I bold statements at the form of that time 4 years ago that everybody they got upset about. I had to say it. I'm gonna say it straightforward, regardless if you like it or not. But at the end, like I told you earlier, what happened? 90%.
Well, that's one of the things that Carl and I spoke about.
Gradually is going to happen. I mean,
how you answer the question, you got to be careful. You know what I mean? In your mind, you're thinking, "You mother," but don't say it that way. You got to figure out a way to say it and answer in such a way, because you got to understand that our demographics are 55 to 65. You know what I mean? And they're older. They just want this thing to happen. They've been listening to these people lie to them for so long. The scary thing is you guys have been listening to him lie for you for so long that you jumped in 3 different categories age-wise.
Yeah, and then I do have a gentleman, Red Hawk, said Delta, the truth is they are operating on the Julian calendar January 1st and the 14th. Yeah, they do, but this is Iraq. They can do whatever they want, I guess.
So great. Now they got a different calendar. They got a different watch. They got a different whatever.
Yeah.
The military's holding them back. The 3-letter agencies, the black hats. Good Lord, the numbers on the back screen. Humanitarian project.
Listen, Red Hawk's been in here talking about the banks say it's ready. He's got bank stories. Yeah. It's the same.
What bank are you talking about? There's no banks out there saying it's
right here. Let me pull it up for you. And sorry, I'm just now learning how to use this because I'm not a YouTube guy.
Me too. I'm having some questions. I'm just reading right now.
No, Delta ain't the only one saying it's not. I'm saying it's not. The banks aren't ready.
I mean,
which banks are you talking about? Which banks are you talking about?
Banks.
What banks, Red Hawk?
Right, you know what I mean, and he's just going on.
Here's another thing that people aren't taking into consideration. Even if the exchange rate changed tomorrow,
okay, let me ask you something.
where are you
See,
going to
this
take
is
your Iraq to? Where are you going to take your
okay.
dinar to? You know,
Right.
until they
Okay.
remove those sanctions here, where are you going to go?
See, and this is what I'm talking about right now. See, this kind of statement that makes a lot of new investors, right, get hype and then disappointed. Someone like this, like when you say like banks are saying they're ready for what? I mean, when you say something like that, you know what you do? You're damaging a lot of people right now, especially the new one. They think it's going to happen when you say something like, and this is the problem.
You know
The
what? You're
problem
ready.
is the
Ready for the
banks,
world.
and here's the thing right now.
Oh,
With all the
shit.
respect to you, Bay, um, I'm telling, like I said earlier, I can bet all my money on that nothing's going to happen. No bank is ready. Yes, they're trying to just fix the parlor rate, the official rate, the other rate, but anyway, my advice to you, my friend, don't do something like that, because if you are Christian and you are like you believe in God and Jesus, I'm not sure whatever religion you got. I respect all religions anyway, but don't do this because you're hurting people.
Yeah, they do.
When you're lying to people like this, right? The bank is ready, and I bet you we're gonna do conference, and we're gonna do this kind of YouTube with Carl, because I love Carl. I love the way how you're doing it, man, because you're straightforward.
That's because he
And
looks like
we're
a
gonna
big
do
teddy
this.
bear.
And here's the thing. Let's put this one. The bank they're saying already. We're gonna be together. I'm telling you right now. We are January what today? January
5th.
5th? Okay, I'm gonna see you like in 2 3 months. We're gonna still talking about the same thing.
I know.
This is what happened 4 years ago. Okay, let's see
Dinar
the
right
other
here.
question.
Does
Well, that's
America
why.
call all the shots? Yes or no, Delta?
Yes, they do call the shots, the U.S. But again, like I explained earlier, Iraq still can delay. So there's a lot of requirements. Like one of them, I give example, the exchange rate. They cannot even control the exchange rate. When did they change the rate? It was in February, right?
Yep,
If
last
I'm not
February.
mistaken. Okay, it was 1310, correct?
Yep, before that it was 1450 in December.
Okay.
So December,
So,
January, or February.
okay, so February they changed the rate, the official rate to 1310.
Yep.
What's in the black market right now? It's still 1550, almost 1500. It's not
I
even
think it
controllable.
actually got to 1500. Yeah.
Okay, now so you need the 2%. Just as simple as that. A lot of people. This thing is very important for if the U.S. going to take a shot or not, right? But the U.S. they're in control. But this is one of the things that Iraq can delay. Why? We explained it earlier. If you listen to us earlier, corruption. They don't want this to happen. But eventually it's going to happen one day. We don't know when.
I
But
know.
all
I'm
that
kind of
here,
pulling for Al Sadini for some strange, stupid reason. I kind of have a feeling he's even though he's a Maliki, you know, protege, but him and Maliki are really close. But it doesn't seem like Maliki's pulling the strings. I might be wrong, because you don't know what's really going on behind the scene. But here's my thing: does America call the shots? Let me tell you, if you have to tell America about your budget, whether or not it's okay to implement the things you want done, and then ask them for the money for your budget, what's that tell you? Does America run Iraq? Yes. Nepal, man, I gotta go to Nepal, man. That's like so many people keep saying, Pimp, you gotta come out to Nepal.
wow.
They say there's a club out here you'll love. I was like, oh, it's funny how y'all say a club. What makes you think I want to go to a club? Because they know me so well.
Here we go, Pimpy. Just realized 2 weeks ago that if Iraq raised the rate, then they would have much more purchasing power.
Yep.
Welcome
I didn't
to
just
the party,
really.
Pimpy.
Pimpy just realized. Now, are you kidding me? Give me a break. I've been speaking about purchasing power long. Look, my channel has been educating people in the Dinar community for years, and that's pissing as many people off as possible because they didn't want to hear it. They did not want to get educated. I went through and explained to people in different kind of videos. This is an RV. This is an RI. These are what you got to do to change your exchange rate. These are the hurdles you got to drop to. These are the sanctions that Iraq is under. I mean, I did videos for all this stuff. Pimpy, have you ever been to any of the banks to ask about the RV or RI? And what bank exactly do you think I would go to? I mean, I've been to my bank and asked about what happens if we can, if the exchange rate, and I know I'm at Wells Fargo, and I asked the manager, I said, look, James, if tomorrow the Iraqi dinar, he goes, before you get going, I got to just do this disclaimer. Wells Fargo does not sell or buy Iraqi dinar at this moment. I said, okay, so get past that. Let's say that all of a sudden it's okay to do it. And the sanctions are lifted and hallelujah, we're able to swap our Iraqi dinar for whatever 322 rate. How does that work? He goes, okay, you just come to my bank, get my attention, tell me what you're going to do. You're going to deposit how much Iraqi dinars. I'll make sure that the dollars are real and not counterfeited. I said, okay. He goes, I'll tell you what the exchange rate is and how much is going to be going to your bank account. I said, okay. He goes, you'll have access to some of it right away. You have access to the balance of it within 30 days. And I go, anything else? He goes, no. Then you have to pay taxes. I was like, oh, wow. So that was it. There was no redemption center. There was no 800 number. There's none of that stuff. Militia, man. What are you doing out here, militia man? This is where you come to get educated, militia man.
All right, guys. Well, I tell you what, we've ran a lot longer. I appreciate having you guys here, and I thank everybody. And for the guys that are thinking we're just ignoring your questions, you got to remember, I'm not a YouTuber. I'm just now learning how to use all this, so I apologize. I was sitting here with a pen and trying to write stuff down, and as Pimpy alluded to, he's very long-winded. So I never got a lot of them in, but it'll get better.
He's lying. He's neglecting you guys. He hates you guys.
I promise you that's not the case.
Somebody said, hey, are you Carl Brothers? I was like, what? He goes, you two look like you guys could be brothers. I mean, seriously, are you? And I was like, no, if we're brothers, I don't know about it yet, but if we get together in a bar, I'll know within the first half hour if he's a brother.
That's a good one.
Delta, I really thank you, sir, and I look forward to doing more of these. And Pimpy as well, I thank you. And for everybody that's here, we're going to be doing these shows more often, all of us together. Me and Delta are going to be talking about other investments, and I hope to be including Pimpy into that stuff as well.
Yeah, I'm talking to Carl email. We haven't emailed recently, but he's trying to get used to my sense of humor and the way I talk. But I'm trying to get him aboard. I think he has something to offer to people. Okay, he really does. And so who knows, maybe we can work something out and we all do something. But we know he likes to zero in on Dinar gurus for some reason, man.
Man, they've irritated the crap out of me. All right, Delta, I love you, my brother. Pimpy, I love you. I hope you guys have a wonderful night, and I will be talking to everybody soon. Thank you guys for joining us tonight, the crowd. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Man, let's get together and have a beer.
Yeah, Militia Man.
No, seriously, I joke. I said, look, I have a feeling that me and Militia Man went to a bar and had a beer. We'd be just fine. But don't talk to me about the dinar while we're drinking. It'd be the worst time. But other than that, we can have fun. We'll laugh. We'll joke. Point fingers at people. Make fun of them. Whatever it takes. But when it comes to the dinar community, that's a different story altogether.
The only things I know is every time I used to call Militia Man, I used to make a steak. He's good. He's a good cook. So get ready to steak and wine.
Hey.
What?
Hey.
Dude, I was thinking about doing what's called a Pimpy barbecue tour in a bus and go to each state. We should do it. And then have people that think they're the best cooks and have a cookout and see who wins. And then, we should do it. Pimpy's barbecue tour, man. We got to do this. Go to Texas. Go to Louisiana. I'm like, I'll go wherever the hell you guys want me to.
That's funny. All right, guys. Well, hey, thank you for everybody joining us tonight. Guys, I thank you again, and have a wonderful night, and I'll be in touch with everybody soon.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the opportunities.
Have a great night.
Have a great night, guys.
Good night. Bye-bye.